Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Hala Kuwait. My name is Hibal Gahtani, and I'll be your presenter for today's episode. And of course, it's Thursday, and it's the beginning of the weekend. For, let's say, the students who are in the government school, this is, let's say, the last day from their holiday, and Sunday will be the beginning of, let's say, school day. So hopefully, you're preparing yourself really well when it comes into school, and of course, enjoying, let's say, the rest of the holiday that you actually have. And with us here in this episode, we're going to start our report on the seminar by the Ministry of Electricity and Water. So we're going to watch that report, and then we'll be back again to continue our episodes with our guests.
Today in this event organized by Ministry of Electricity and Water, I will talk about the role of Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research in enhancing the quality of drinking water in Kuwait.
And we are back, dear viewers, with our guest, Dr. Mohammed Al-Banna, the consultant cardiac surgeon. So really happy to have you here as guest here in Hala Kuwait.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you and to the viewers.
So before we continue, let's say the interview itself and talk about heart and heart disease and everything when it comes into that part exactly, we're going to head to our first report, which is going to talk about you, and then we'll be back again. So dear viewers, hopefully you will enjoy watching the report, and then we'll be back again with our guests.
Dr. Mohammed J. Al-Banna is a consultant cardiac surgeon at the Chest Diseases Hospital in Kuwait City, the largest specialized heart center in Kuwait. Dr. Al-Banna has trained in several top-ranked universities. He completed his medical training at the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom and his cardiac surgery residency at the University of Toronto, Canada. He also holds advanced fellowship training in general cardiac and minimally invasive cardiac surgery from McMaster University, Canada. Dr. Al-Banna has also made significant contributions to cardiac surgery education as the founder of the Cardiac Surgery Trainee Review Program at the Canadian Cardiovascular Society, an invaluable program to generations of cardiac surgeons to achieve their specialty qualifications. A program that will celebrate its 10th anniversary in 2018. He currently serves as the inaugural Director of Education at the Department of Cardiothoracic Surgery in the Chest Diseases Hospital, Kuwait. In addition, Dr. Al-Banna has long established himself as a leader in the field of cardiovascular medicine, having been elected by his peers in both cardiology and cardiac surgery as a trainee representative on the Executive Council of the Canadian Cardiovascular Society. Dr. Al-Banna has established and heads the temporary mechanical circulatory support service at the Chest Diseases Hospital. He is a certified specialist in cardiac surgery as a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons of Canada. Dr. Albana practices the full scope of cardiac surgery with a special interest in minimally invasive cardiac surgery.
And we're back, dear viewers, after that amazing, let's say, introduction when it comes into our guest, Dr. Mohammed Al-Banna. So again, we'd like to welcome you here in Hala Kuwait.
Thank you so much.
So as we saw from the video itself, when it comes into giving an introduction about your, let's say, specialization and you as working as a doctor itself. First of all, let's start by saying, why did you choose this kind of field, especially when it comes into heart and the heart disease itself? Like, did you find it really challenging, especially in specializing in this kind of, say, field itself?
That is the whole point
Yeah.
behind specializing in cardiac surgery, is that it is challenging. I've
Yeah.
always wanted a challenge in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person who takes the easy way out. I've always taken the harder way. And hence that's why I wanted cardiac surgery, because it's a challenging area. However, my first interest in the heart, let's say, started back in medical school. We had a professor who made the subject likable. So I loved it because he made it so easy, and I guess that was the spark that started the interest in cardiology and the heart and cardiovascular medicine. As the time went by, as the years went by in medical school, I did more and more projects, and I was more interested in the heart. Once I finished, I was quite lucky because I did my internship, which is the first year after graduating from medical school in the United Kingdom. And that was the first year that they allowed newly graduated doctors to do a specialized area. Usually it was general medicine and general surgery. There was no choice. But that year they said, okay, you can choose what area you wanted to go into. So I was quite fortunate that I got to go to a heart unit, a cardiology unit in Bradford Royal Infirmary in the United Kingdom. I got to work with an amazing team that made me like the heart and like the specialty even more. So when I came back to Kuwait, I already had an idea of what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
So I pursued it further, and here I am.
Yeah, that's really amazing to hear. That's a great story when it comes into you choosing the field itself. So as we know that medicine is actually developing from, let's say, from the beginning until nowadays. So when it comes into this kind of field and the techniques that are actually being used, like maybe you can tell the audience about the new techniques that are consistent when it comes into the field itself.
So cardiac surgery is, I should start by saying, is different than cardiology. Some people think that cardiology and cardiac surgery are the same, and they are different. So a cardiologist is a doctor who prescribes the pills to treat the heart. Some of them actually go and do angiograms. An angiogram is a test for the heart, and through that test, or through that small tube that goes through blood vessels, they can intervene and plant stents, for instance. So they don't make big incisions. So these are cardiologists. A cardiac surgeon, on the other hand, makes a cut in the skin and gets access to the heart.
Yes.
Initially, I was going to say big incisions. So this is, as time goes by, the incisions are shrinking and going smaller and smaller in size. The traditional and the open heart surgery, or the cardiac surgery technique that everyone knows about, is through a midline sternotomy, a cut through the chest bone to gain access to the heart. Recently, the latest advancement was shrinking these openings. So now, certain problems in the heart could be accessed or could be solved with a 6 centimeter incision at the top part of the chest, or on the side, upper side of the chest, or the lower side below the breast. Lately, these openings have become smaller and smaller. We have just done our first operation using a surgical robot. Using that robot, you need only 4 1-centimeter incisions on the side of the chest wall to perform what used to be done through a 20-centimeter or 15-centimeter incision in the middle of the chest. So this was what's been happening over the course of the years, is that we've been trying to be less invasive, I should say, making the incisions smaller to, I guess, make the operation less stressful and less traumatic to the patients.
Yes, because actually, especially when it comes into heart disease, lots of people actually get really scared and actually going to the doctor itself and to let them do the checkup and to know what's going wrong over there. But at the same time, and like people are really scared from surgery itself, and now you're introducing the method of robots. Like,
yes.
Like technology is getting there. Like, how do you think that people's reaction will be towards finding this, let's say, kind of machine, and this kind of machine is going to, let's say, like starts to fix them. So how do you think the reaction will be?
So the reaction is quite positive. People are excited. I already have patients calling me up, maybe not physically calling me up, but trying to communicate with me through social media and whatnot to see if they are eligible to have their open heart surgery done through the robot. Using the robot is not for everyone. It's for certain cases. The cases are, number one, if you need coronary bypass for 1 or 2 of your main coronary arteries. This could be done using the robot. If you need more bypasses, then the robot is not for you.
Yes.
Number 2 is if you have, or if someone has a problem with their mitral valve, repair and replacement of the mitral valve could be done using the robot. Similarly, the tricuspid valve could also be treated with the robot. So these are the 3 main areas that could be treated using the robot. What we did, I think last week, is that we had a Belgium team come to help us start off operating using the robot. What we did last week is we did 4 operations that were the first using the robot to treat the heart. The robot has been in Kuwait for, I would say, a year. It was used by the urologists to do surgeries on the kidneys and whatnot. They've been doing it for over a year now. And then the second team that started doing robotic surgery is the thoracic team. So they were doing operations on the lung, excising part of the lung using the robot. And then we were the third team to start use the robot in Kuwait, and we've used it to do operations on the heart. So the first 3 operations that we did, we replaced a single vessel. We did a single coronary bypass for each one of these patients. So what happens is we make an incision that is this big, basically, through which the arm of the robot goes into the chest. So we have 3 arms and then 1 opening for the camera so that we can see what we're actually doing inside. And then with a remote control, a very big remote control, we control the arms, these tiny arms of the robot. So we make cuts, we make sutures, we do dissection, we do all these things using these tiny arms of the robot. And we've been successful.
No, that's really amazing.
Touch
to hear
wood.
that. Yeah.
The 3 patients are going to be going home soon.
Yes, mashallah.
And then the 4th guy had a permanent pacemaker implanted using the robot. This guy went home already. He's doing very well.
That's really amazing to see that actually the more that we get, let's say, modernized when it comes into technology and this kind of field, and it's really great to see that improvement is happening in the medicine itself, in medicine field itself.
Absolutely.
But the more we get, let's say, advanced when it comes into technology itself, the more the diseases actually grow, the more the obesity that we have actually in the generation is really growing when it comes into that part. Like before, it was only the eldest one. Now, let's say the kids from 10 to, let's say, teenagers are really getting obese. So when it comes into these kind of, let's say, diseases and having these kind of children and kind of age actually, what are, let's say, the diseases when it comes into heart that are facing them now?
So, being obese doesn't give you heart disease when you're young. So heart disease is a problem of the elderly, of older patients. But what we could do when we are younger is prevent it from happening early on. We will all eventually have heart disease.
Yes.
If we live long enough, the heart will eventually fail. And it will cause, or it will grow, blockages inside the arteries. But what could we do to prevent these blockages from growing faster is that we avoid obesity, is that we start exercising, we stop smoking, we look after our diets. There are things that we could do to prevent heart disease. The main problem, or the most common problem with the heart, is blockages in the coronary arteries. Coronary arteries are the arteries that supply the heart muscle. They give it the food, the nutrient, the oxygen that it needs to pump. If these arteries are blocked, the heart becomes weaker because there's no energy for it to work. If there's a cessation, or if the blood stops from going to the heart, then that part of the heart is going to die. Once it dies, it doesn't come back. The part of the heart that dies never comes back. It's not like a wound on the skin that it heals. So the heart never heals. If you lose that part of the muscle, it's gone forever. And that is why it's important to start prevention from an early age. That's why it's important for people to exercise, reduce their weight, look after their diet, and so forth.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know this kind of information that you actually provided now, is that when part of the heart get, let's say, infected or get the disease itself, it starts to die. Like you cannot really recover it or
no,
anything
you
like
can't.
that. Yeah,
you
because
can't.
this is really something that people don't really have much awareness about.
Exactly.
Even, let's say, for a patient who actually, the problem is what's happening now. People are like, I don't need to play exercise now. I'm really young. I don't have any kind of problem now, but I might have it in the future. So before I have it, let's say in the certain age, they're like these kind of, let's say, lazy kids, like between 30 and 40, this is the time where I'm going to do exercise and start to eat healthy and so on. Like, what do you tell these kind of people?
I think that's the wrong way to think about it. Because if you're not used to exercising from an early age, then you'll never get into the habit. It's all about forming good habits. You know what I mean? If you, let's say, wake up in the morning and do your bed, you're going to keep doing your bed to the day you die. If you consistently eat bad food and make the wrong choices about the type of food that you eat, you will always make the wrong choice. So it's all about forming good habits from an early age and sticking with these habits as the age goes by. If we are stronger and healthier when we're children, the chances are that we're going to be healthier and stronger when we are grown-up adults. So I totally disagree with the idea that we can postpone and push exercising and looking after ourselves to a later stage.
Especially in our generations, like, there is always time. They always like to postpone everything. So yes,
there is always time, but I think there's I think for good things and for the right thing, now is the good time. It's not later on.
So also when it comes to patients who have heart problem and these, let's say, kind of heart disease, like can they actually, let's say, practice exercise like normal people, or can they, let's say, go through the diet and the lifestyle as normal people, or there are, let's say, certain characteristics when it comes into each and different heart problem?
So when I say exercise, I don't mean go and lift heavy weights. I don't say go and do CrossFit, and so the least amount of exercise that we ask people to do is walk. If you can walk half an hour for 5 days a week, that is all that you need to reduce the risk of getting a heart attack to almost the half. So half an hour, 5 days a week is all that you need. So you can imagine that it's quite a reasonable request from people. We're not telling them to go run, we're not telling them to cycle, we're not telling them to do strenuous activities, we're telling them to walk.
Yeah.
So, and now for my lady patients in the clinic, I tell them you're not going shopping. So it's not window shopping.
Yes.
You have to walk briskly so that your heart rate goes up a bit and maintain that for half an hour.
Yes.
So that's all that we ask. In the winter times, the weather is quite pleasant in Kuwait, so you could do it outdoors. In the summer, there's so many big malls and you can do it in the mall. Malls are open, I think, from 6 a.m. to allow people to come and exercise and walk.
Yes.
So really, there's no excuse for not walking half an hour.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't really agree more on that point, especially when it comes into walking, and mothers themselves, of course. So as we reach towards the end with you, Doctor, maybe you'd like to give, let's say, any last words for the audience that are watching us now through Hala Kuwait.
Well, so people tell me always, how can I prevent heart disease? And I tell them it's the same old teaching. Eat well, exercise, quit bad habits, i.e. smoking and sitting in front of the TV for quite some time. If you like watching TV, put a treadmill and put it in front of the TV.
Yes.
So watch TV shows while doing. So this is one thing that I do is if I want to watch a TV show, then I'd put it on my iPad and force myself to watch it while walking.
Yes.
So good habits and avoid the bad habits. That's how you basically avoid heart disease.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor, for your advice and for your time, for having you here in Hala Kuwait as a guest. Hopefully we'll see you in upcoming episodes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for...
And that with us was Dr. Mohammed Benna. Hopefully you find, let's say, lots of great information, especially when it comes into the heart disease itself. And with that, dear viewers, we're going to head to our second report when it comes into human capital farm. So stay tuned with us.
Nuqat is a non-profit organization that focuses on cultural development, and today we're here at a special edition forum that we are organizing that's discussing the human capital, investing in creativity for social impact. And Nuqat as an organization has been organizing conferences for the past 8 years, and we focus on socio-economical issues but from a creative and cultural perspective. And this year we call it a special edition because every year we organize our event in November that is a week long, whereas today it's a 2-day conference, and we are bringing together the financial and investment sector with the cultural and creative sector. And the idea is we want to tie the importance of culture, art and creativity on the economy at large, and how artists and designers in the cultural scene can play a crucial role in developing the community, the citizens and the economy itself.
I'm here today to be a speaker and a panelist in Nuqat conference. I've come to Nuqat conference for the past 9 years, attending it religiously because it was one of the most important platforms in the Gulf if not the Arab world, in the sense to discuss creativity and the industry of art and creativity. Actually, the conference itself is also a very important networking event for a lot of people that live in the Gulf and work within this creative industry. I am one of the dedicated followers of this conference and what it contributes to the dialogue that is absolutely necessary in today's world in the Gulf countries, especially in Kuwait and in Saudi Arabia.
And we are back, dear viewers, after the report that was presented to you. And with us, we have our guest. We would like to welcome him, Mr. Faris Al-Ubaid, advisor to His Excellency, the Secretary General at the Supreme Council for Planning and Development. So we're really happy to have you here in Hala Kuwait.
Thank you, Heba. It's my honor to be here on KTV2 to present about Kuwait Expo.
So, of course, we're going to talk more about Kuwait Expo and lots of, let's say, information we're going to get from you, Mr. Faris. But before we head to talk about it, we're going to watch with the audience a report on the Kuwait Expo 2018, and then we'll be back again.
Held under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, the Emir of the State of Kuwait, Kuwait Expo 2018 welcomes the participation of knowledge-based small and medium enterprises, SMEs, as well as the corporate sector to join as exhibitors, sponsors, or visitors. Kuwait Expo 2018 is an extensive exhibition where companies showcase their business solutions, seek out franchising opportunities, and network with Kuwaiti SME entrepreneurs and business owners. Kuwait Expo 2018 is organized by the National Knowledge Economy Center, NKEC, in partnership with the General Secretariat, Supreme Council for Planning and Development, GCC-CPD, taking place on the 6th February 2018 at the International Fairgrounds in Mishraf, Kuwait. Kuwait Expo 2018 is an annual business-oriented knowledge economy flagship event targeting entrepreneurs. It is a one-stop marketplace featuring a full range of knowledge-based business opportunities and distinctive knowledge management solutions for SMEs. Kuwait Expo 2018 is a pure business-to-business platform aiming to garner international know-how and local financial opportunities and partnerships. Exhibiting at Kuwait Expo 2018 brings you into direct contact with existing and new businessmen, entrepreneurs, as well as existing small and medium businesses from both public and private sectors across the country. Taking part of Kuwait Expo 2018 will help expand and maintain company brand, build a profitable and productive network, penetrate new markets, and maintain a competitive advantage, find new partners, agents, and franchise opportunities. The Kuwait Expo 2018 reaches across global markets and brings together thousands of highly qualified entrepreneurs ready to do business. A huge array of international suppliers, partners, and franchisors present state-of-the-art innovation, technology, and knowledge-based products and services, allowing entrepreneurs wider exposure to different investing opportunities and serving as a one-stop shop for all their research needs. Kuwait Expo 2018 is a unique opportunity for businesses to increase their exposure, develop new networks, increase their profitability, and expand market share. It grants exhibitors the chance to share knowledge and experiences, identifying mutual opportunities for growth and success. 300 plus exhibitors will participate in the expo from 15 countries, 1,000 business opportunities and concepts, 70,000 potential attendees, and 20,000 plus entrepreneurs.
And we are back, dear viewers, after that report when it comes into the Kuwait Expo 2018. With us, we would like to welcome again Mr. Faris Al Ubaid, Advisor to His Excellency, the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Planning and Development. So again, we'd like to welcome you here, and maybe you can tell the audience more about the exhibition. Like, we've seen the report, but we would like to hear from you exactly what is going to be about the event itself.
Thanks again, Hiba, for allowing me to present today the Kuwait Expo. Let's understand the background of Kuwait Expo
Yes.
to have a better feeling of what we're doing and what our aims are. So the Kuwait Expo started as an idea back 2 years ago in 2016. We launched the first Knowledge Economy Conference in Kuwait under the Supreme Council of Planning and Development. The idea of this conference was to gather academics from around the world and to discuss about the new concept of knowledge economy. At the end of this conference, we had recommendations that we submitted to the government. Amongst these recommendations, we had 3 main points that we implemented. First was to create the first National Knowledge Economy Center, which we've done under the Supreme Council of Planning and Development. 2 was to create a platform whereby business entrepreneurs from around the world can interact with local entrepreneurs in Kuwait and create successful partnerships and transfer knowledge from abroad to create a viable business hub in Kuwait. And the third one was to recommence the conference of knowledge economy. So thank God we successfully completed all our tasks, and now we've reached the second stage whereby we actually implemented our recommendations, whereby we're going to create an expo bringing in more than 300 companies from around the world, small and medium enterprises, and the idea is to bring business plans, business models from around the world, bring them to Kuwait and partnership with local entrepreneurs in Kuwait. Today we have the National Fund for SMEs, whereby that supports entrepreneurs in Kuwait. And we're going to use that and capitalize on that platform.
Yes. So also when it comes into, for the people who are actually, or the companies that are actually participating in this exhibition itself, and sorry, in the Expo of 2018, are you like focusing or concentrating on public or private sector? Like, how does it work when it comes into that?
Okay, so the driver of growth today in any kind of business economic activity is the private sector.
Yes.
So our main focus is the private sector. But this initiative is a government initiative. Today we have 4 main partners: Ministry of Trade and Commerce, KIC, which is Kuwait Investment Company, Maker Fair, and the National Fund for SMEs, including us, which is the General Secretariat for the Supreme Council of Planning and Development. The idea is that we're going to push, promote, and help the business economy to revive and push the SME sector in Kuwait, whereby ideas come from abroad and the local financing and support comes from Kuwait through the National Fund.
Yes. So also when it comes into the outcome of this expo, like because of it's going to be, let's say, the first of its kind is happening in Kuwait. So how do you think the outcome is going to be like?
Well, we're very hopeful and we're looking at a very good, strong expo. Thank God we've overbooked our expo, 2 main halls. Hall 5 and Hall 6 at the Kuwait International Fairgrounds. Interestingly enough is that the Ministry of Trade and Commerce have already commenced an expo last year through this Islamic organization, bringing business entrepreneurs from around the world to participate in an expo. And we've also realized that KIC had an expo called Maker Fair, which promotes and supports entrepreneurs from around the world to create something out of their hands. Maker Fair, so they make something. So what we decided is to create a business platform at a national level called Kuwait Expo. We've branded it, It has nothing to do with Dubai Expo. It doesn't compete against them at all. But it's just a business platform where it aligns private sector, KIC, and government sector supporting the business economic activity in Kuwait through different partnerships.
Yes. So also in Kuwait, we really focus on the youth themselves and the youngers, and we try our best to, let's say, find the support for them and know how to actually, let's say, help them. So what is the value that is going to be added to the youth and younger when it comes into this expo happening in Kuwait?
Excellent question, Heba. I mean, we've partnered up with the National Fund for SMEs, as I've said, and we work very closely with them. One of the interesting facts that we've discovered is many of the business proposals that are being submitted to the fund does not add value to the micro or macro economy of Kuwait. It does not support, it does not promote two-way flow of business, it does not support one of our main ambitions is to hire more Kuwaitis in the private sector, and so on and so forth. So we came up with this idea of creating a roadshow going around the world, partnering up with different chambers of commerce, different entities, to bring ideas and business models that are applicable in the Middle East and more prominently in the GCC, and match them with local entrepreneurs that have the drive, that have the ambition to start a business today in Kuwait.
Yes, yes. And when it comes into the useful and important value adding to the country itself in general, so maybe you could, let's say, enlighten on that part.
Yes, so today the youth form a majority of Kuwait's population, and we try our best to support them in many aspects. This expo is, I would say, one of our biggest ideas that will promote the youth, that will promote the SME sector through our main partners by creating a platform whereby they can see some successful enterprises that are already existing abroad, where they can create some kind of partnerships, get franchise deals, maybe even invest or even commence a company in Kuwait with that entrepreneur from abroad.
Yes.
Some of the, like for example, some of the companies or some of the industries that we're participating in the expo target nanotechnology, blockchains, and different kind of technological industries.
Yes. Of course, we've been talking about the expo itself, and it's going to be happening, let's say, within the upcoming, let's say, days. So maybe you can tell the audience about the timing of the exhibition and also at the same time about the place where it's going to be held.
Yeah, so the days of the expo will be from February 6 to 10, 2018. It will be at the Kuwait International Fairgrounds Exhibition Center in Mishraf. We've taken hall number 5 and hall number 6. We have 2 periods for the expo, the morning and the afternoon from 9 to 1 and 4 to 9 each day, except Fridays, which will be in the afternoon only from 3 to 9.
Yes. And also when it comes into the future plans that you're going, let's say, to have after this expo is going to be held.
So we're happy, like I said, we've overbooked and we actually have companies on standby requesting to participate at a very last moment. The idea is to have this expo on a 2-year basis, every 2 years. And hopefully the one in 2020 will be double the size of the one we have this year, inshallah.
Hopefully, inshallah, it's going to be happening. And of course, if we want to talk about the participants, like, are they, let's say, considered more from Kuwait or more from, let's say, different countries? Like, are they from the GCC countries or even, let's say, more from other, let's say, abroad countries?
Excellent question. So we've decided to formulate this expo whereby the participants get a free entry, whether you're from abroad or from Kuwait. We've sent official invites through the government of Kuwait to the GCC Secretariat, to Mohammed bin Rashid Institute in UAE, and all our neighborly countries, in addition to all the institutes and Chamber of Commerce from around the world. As I've explained to you earlier, we've done a roadshow to Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, France, USA.
Yes.
We've communicated to our embassies through our ambassadors abroad that there's an expo. We've had many confirmations of attendance, participations, and exhibitors for the expo.
Yes, that's really amazing to see such a great effort that is actually happening here in Kuwait, and hopefully all of the success when it comes into this expo, and inshallah, let's say it will flourish and grow more when it comes into 2020 expo itself. So any last words you would like to tell the audience before, let's say, we end the interview?
First of all, thank you, Hiba. Thank you for KTV2 for hosting me tonight. A big thank you to all our partners, Ministry of Trade and Commerce, Kuwait Investment Company, Maker Fair, and the National Fund for SMEs, and all the government entities that really helped support and drive this expo for the past year. That will take place from February 6th to 10th in Kuwait International Expo Center.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Faris Al Abeid, for your time, and hopefully we will have you, let's say, to talk in the future when it comes into Expo 2020.
More than happy.
Thank you very much. And with that, dear viewers, we're going to head to our report on traditional Kuwait, which is going to talk about the traditional things in the country itself. So hopefully you'll enjoy watching it.
Souk al-Mbarkiya is a souk in Kuwait City, Kuwait. It is one of the oldest souks in Kuwait and was the center of trade prior to the discovery of oil. This popular traditional market is located in Kuwait City between Abdullah al-Mubarak and Abdullah al-Salim and Palestine streets. This market has been around for at least 200 years. You can spend hours in this market strolling around and discovering reasonable bargains on heritage goods such as Persian silk carpets, real Arab antiques, perfumes like musk and oud, and traditional costumes. This place is perfect whether you want to shop, eat, or for sightseeing. Al-Mubarakiya features a variety of shops such as dates, honey, spices, sweets, vegetables, fruits, meat, and fish. In addition to a range of shops, accessories, gold and silver jewelries, the market also hosts two mini museums, Sheikh Mubarak Kiosk and the first Islamic pharmacy in Kuwait, and admission is free. There is a courtyard near Al-Bahar Sea Mosque where you can find traditional cafes brewing their teas over coals, and several small restaurants are lined up where they serve authentic Arabic, Indian, Persian food to the customers in the open air. The prices are the cheapest in Kuwait. On hot summer days, water mist is sprayed from pipes over the tables to give you a cooling feeling. And a children playground is also available. The relationship between Kuwait and pearl diving is intertwined and connected with generations of Kuwaitis carrying on the legacy left by the forefathers of the countries. Pearl diving in the old days was the main source of income for many Kuwaitis, despite the hardship faced by many divers in the vast wide ocean. A typical day for the divers back then began with early morning Fajr prayers, followed by a cup of tea or coffee, and a small portion of dates. By sunrise, the sailors and divers begin their daily activity of pearl diving, which continues between 12 hours to 16, depending on the season. To aid them during their work, pearl divers used to wear specific clothing to enable them to dive and swim properly, and also provide a minimal protection against jellyfish stings. Though pearl diving has long been abandoned as the main source of livelihood in Kuwait, the younger generation keep the tradition alive by conducting several expeditions during summer season under supervision and sponsorship of the Kuwaiti authorities.
And we are back, dear viewers. As we reach towards the end of today's episode of Hala Kuwait, we would like to remind you of what we were actually having here. We had a great, amazing reports that were presented for you over here through Hala Kuwait and the camera crew itself. And also we had really amazing guests to talk about the heart problems when it comes into heart disease itself. And also when it comes into having our guests to talk about the Expo 2018 that's going to be held in February, which is going to be within days from now. And hopefully, let's say you really got benefits from our interviews and also from our episode today, and hopefully that we're going to see you on Sunday on exactly the same time, 6 p.m. So until that time, have a great evening.